Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is a show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, welcome back. The Well Season 2, Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Andrew Riis.
Yeah.
How are you, my man?
I'm doing good. Can you believe that I think we did 11 episodes in Season 1, and we're already creeping up on that. That's...
Are we counting the ones that we recorded for Season 2 last year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we did 11 in Season 1. This is number 8, so this is the 19th podcast recording, so...
I don't even know what day it is.
They say if a podcast makes it to 20 episodes, it's a real thing.
Okay.
I don't know who they is, but...
Yeah, okay, that matters, though.
It matters. Yeah, we got to know who the credentials are, but...
Yeah, we had a seminar last night.
Yes, we did.
Yep, we had it at the right across the street from the office.
Yep, FDR.
Actually, what episode was that?
I have no idea.
Was it Season 1?
It was Season 1. It was, we did a walkabout.
Episode 10, maybe, or...
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, go back and watch that. That was FDR. That's where we had our seminar last night, so...
Yep.
Had another one. Pretty good show. I think there's
21 people there.
Yeah.
It was a good show up, right? Good registration numbers. I don't know if it was the quality didn't feel like... It didn't feel great.
Didn't
feel great.
Yeah, I think we... It was unique. We're not. This show's not even. We're not even redoing that. But just since we're talking about it, yeah, it was kind of unique because I felt like the crowd engaged pretty well with us.
Really well.
Usually they nod off or whatever. I didn't even see any of that.
Mm-mm.
You know, it was only one guy got up like 6 times to get more food and stuff, and that's fine. Yeah. But other than that, it was. Yeah, but it just didn't.
They laughed at the jokes. They answered the questions. They clapped at the end, which we don't always get.
They gave us so many. They're like, we really appreciate that. I mean,
they did everything except schedule appointments.
Yeah, we got, I guess, 4 and really 2 hard scheduled, 2 calls.
Three hards and one called me.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, well, today I thought let's do it a little different. We sometimes the next episode, you know, we'll recount kind of our seminars and go through that. But we had a call. You know, we work doing PlanWise with clients. We're also full-time working RA, talking to partners and agents and those things. So we did a call a couple of days ago with an advisor about just sort of best practices. So whether you're doing a webinar or a seminar, we went over 3 key things that really you and I do. Mm-hmm. It's moved the needle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're like, let's just do an episode on that, and we'll go over these 3 tips. So if you're running webinars or seminars or anything really where people see your face, mm-hmm. I mean, I guess this could be used for lead generation too. That process, that follow-up's just a little bit different, but use these 3 things. I promise you, they'll move the needle.
Yeah. And we've talked about I think 2 of them before, kind of loosely.
Yep.
But we'll dive in a little bit more on kind of the mechanics of it and how we've seen it help.
We'll save the new one for last then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how it's set up on the list.
Yep. Let's do it that way.
So the first quick tip number 1. Ethan, if you want to throw a cool graphic on there, quick tip number 1.
Do like a foam finger.
Like a foam
number 1. Number 1. Can you put an RA on there though, so it's like our team logo?
Yeah, and it has to like wave back and forth.
Throw it over to me. I'll catch it. Okay.
There you go. There we go.
Got him.
So the first one is the curious, serious conversation.
Yeah.
We started doing this in January, I think.
Yep.
It's late April now. And this was Richy's idea. He got from, I can't remember who the guy was. I
want to give him credit. And if I think of it, maybe I'll send it and you can put it in there. I don't remember. It was not my idea.
Right.
I saw a video on it and I thought, man, it was for a totally different industry. I want to say it was like gym membership or something. But
actually, I think it was videography. I think he was a creative.
It was a creative. Okay, You're exactly right.
Yep.
It was a big conference, like 1,000 creatives, and it was a keynote guy talking about how to position yourself and those things.
Yep. Yeah. And so the whole idea is like in your discovery process, whatever you call that, we call it part 2.
Yep.
Ask the question, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, are you curious or serious about retirement planning?
I love that question. I just love it. It makes so much sense. And so in this particular guy I was talking to, there really wasn't a point of that for him. He just kind of dove into the process and then did it, mm-hmm. and was having a pretty good close rate. But it was just like, if you do this one little thing, I think it'll help you on the front side. Because what it does is I think it positions the rest of the appointment.
Yeah.
It kind of pre-frames the appointment.
Yeah.
And we've started saying it at the seminar now too, like, hey, I just want to say, thank you all for being here because you're serious about your retirement. And that's good. And so we'll start putting that word serious in there. And then we actually ask for it on the blue sheet now too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We ask them to check off whether they're serious or curious, and with no other context. We're just saying, hey, are you serious or curious? And I'd say it's about 50-50. I don't know.
Unprompted, just sort of what do they select? It's usually, you're right. Probably 50.
I don't know if you do it or not, but in the part 2, it's one of the first things I asked them. Hey, on the blue sheet, you indicated that you're curious or you're serious. And then I followed up with the follow-up question, rate that on a scale of 1 to 10 for me. And almost every time if they say they're curious, because I'll use kind of psychological language, I'll say, you indicate that you're just curious about retirement planning. And they're like, oh, well, no, I'm serious. They kind of get a little bit defensive. No, I'm actually serious. Or I say something like, you indicate you're just curious and not serious about retirement planning, and kind of try to get them to move over to a serious side, because this is a serious process and we want them to take it seriously because we're investing a great deal of time and money into helping these people out. And the follow-up question is, okay, rate that on a scale of 1 to 10 for me. And why do we do that one, Rich?
Yeah, well, because it's such a genius thing, because you can say like, what's on your mind and why you're here, and they'll say, oh, whatever, kind of vanilla answers. This way, and you're right, and I do the same exact thing. Are you curious? You're serious. So let's say they say curious 8. Say, okay, why would you not rate yourself lower than an 8? So it's like a reverse question of what they're used to, and it does. And I know you've probably seen it. They kind of and they start just word vomiting all the things that they're concerned about. Yeah. And then usually what I'll say is, if they did select curious, and then they start saying, well, will I have enough money, or I want to pay for this or that, or the kids' weddings, or this house, or this concern, this, and then I'll say, well, those sound pretty serious. Yeah. And I kind of joke with them. They're like, yeah, I guess it is. I'm like, so would you say you're serious or curious about planning for that stuff? And they'll go, oh, well, I guess I'm pretty serious. And I'll say, okay, yeah, because I'm serious about helping you through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. And if they give us a low score, or if they say they're curious and they give us like a 4, it's also pretty indicative of their level of trust in us too. Because if they're just, kind of kicking the tires or poking to see what we're all about, we know, hey, we've got our work cut out for us in this situation. We have to earn that trust. Good point. And try to. It's an indicator of
how this is going to go. And I don't want to say salesmanship, but yeah, I mean, I guess like you're going to have to do a little bit more leading them to that water, I guess, before they'll say yes. So
yeah, you got to prove to them that you are serious, and that they should be serious as well. And if they're just going to be curious and they're just going to take a bunch of your time, that's a pretty strong indicator that, hey, maybe I shouldn't invest a bunch of time in this relationship, because we view every client that we sit down with as a potential relationship. Right. I should say prospect. When they become a client, then it is a relationship. But those prospects, like, we're looking at them saying, hey, do we want you as a part of the family, so to speak? You got to want us, but we also got to want you. This is a two-way street. And we're serious about finding more members of our PlanWise family. Yep. And we want to know if you're serious about that opportunity.
And when we get through the end, even like to get onto that part 3 and into that recommendations, I'll use that. I'll say, well, you're only curious, so you probably really wouldn't want this report. It's almost that takeaway, like, well, no, I kind of would like that. Like, well, okay, but it does take our team a lot of time and effort to put it together, because it's meaningful to us. Is it meaningful to you? So that question has just been good, because it's not. It opens up those more direct, just kind of sales questions, I guess. Yeah. Kind of micro decision, questions, which has been good.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more in the next episode, but one of the things that I think it's really helped me with is getting them to, like you said, word vomit out some of their fears and their concerns and their goals and their aspirations that we can then use in, like following up in that same appointment or in part 3, where we get to use their own language with them. Instead of talking at them and saying, hey, I have this great idea, you should position this portfolio over here, you should do that, or you should do the other thing. We're saying, hey, you said you wanted to pay for your daughter's wedding. Here's a way that we can help you accomplish that. This exactly. is, you said you were serious about saving up for this big vacation. Yep. Look what we can accomplish utilizing these tools.
Exactly.
So kind of always tying back to what their goals and aspirations and dreams are, I think is really valuable. And that question really does help with that. And we always kind of took that approach with part 2, but I think that stimulates a lot more conversation and a lot more raw authenticity from the prospect, and even us in that.
Absolutely.
Because I've had one recently, and I always love the various responses that we get, because you never know what it's going to be. Right. Sometimes it is, I want to pay for a daughter's wedding. Sometimes I was sitting with one, they said, we just want to bless people. Yep. And I was just like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, they felt like they had been blessed and they wanted to be able to share that with other people, and they wanted to do that in a special way. And it's like, man, this is incredible. Because you don't always hear that. A lot of times people will say, well, I want to make sure I don't run out of money. I want to make sure that I'm, I can go on a trip. And it's
this boat,
and
this
not
thing.
that there's anything wrong with that. But every once in a while you get that, that opportunity with somebody. It's like, hey, their vision is greater than just, buying themselves a fancy car. And that's cool. I like to be a part of that journey as well. Yeah,
and absolutely. And you just kind of flirted with the next episode. Really, we're gonna go really in on part 2. So the first appointment after your webinar, after your seminar, is the next episode that'll come out. It'll be episode 9.
Yep.
So make sure you tune back in for that because we're gonna dive in. I think that is the secret sauce behind our success, and our closing ratio has gone through the roof this year because of that method. So
absolutely. All right, so that's tip number 1. Curious or serious.
Boom, use it.
Yeah, definitely use that one. The next one, we've dived into this one a couple of times. I don't know if we've done it on the podcast or not, but I feel like we have at least once. Demoing the process. This was Richy's brainchild, and I think it's blossomed into a beautiful thing during our part 1, which is what we call the seminar or the webinar.
Yeah, and I think last night's demo, again, to toot our horn a little bit, I thought it went the smoothest that we've done it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we've done it on purpose or accident, but we stand, when we're presenting. But when we do the demo, we've been kind of sitting, but I've seen it. I think it kind of lowers the It's by
last
design.
night I didn't stand up on purpose because I saw that you were sitting down. And I was just like, I like that.
It feels more like a family vibe. Like it's not as salesy at that point, even though that is kind of the point we're asking for them to do something. It's more relatable, and I see everybody's kind of guards come down, and so I've been doing that. But
although we didn't get a lot of appointments last night, so maybe we should stand back up.
Stand up, Rich. Yeah, you're all screaming at me listening to it. Well, duh, that's why. Yeah, okay, all right. We'll see. We'll test it out. Maybe we'll stand next time.
Yeah.
But the demo is so important. You can spend all the time you want telling people what you do, and you can talk about your credentials, and you can talk about your experience and inflation and market volatility. You could talk about all these things, but to me, people don't connect those dots always.
Yeah, they don't because they don't care.
They don't.
They came to the seminar to hear a financial advisor speak. They are expecting you to talk over their head, to use charts and graphs and blow their mind with information about Social Security or taxes, or hey, if you do this one thing, you can save tens of thousands of dollars on whatever. And there's just very little authenticity in that, and it's not translatable to their individual situation. That's why one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of like the highly specialized seminars that are like, hey, we're only going to talk about this one thing, and we're going to spend an hour talking about it. Yeah, it's great, but maybe that information only applies to 2 people in the room out of 25.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not translatable. But the demo is translatable to everyone.
Everybody.
So it's been killer. So I mean, essentially, we get up there, and after we've given our 5 pillars, if you will, on retirement planning, the 5 things that they need to have a plan for, we say, okay, but now what's in it for you? If you come into part 2, this is what you can expect. And we don't just demo the part 3, but that's kind of the crown jewel at the end of the presentation. So we tell them what to expect in part 2 as well.
Yeah, you guys have heard of the value stack offer, and that's essentially what we're doing. We're saying like, you get this, and you get this, and you get this, and you get this, and it's just like you're stacking all these things where they're like, oh man, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. Wow, this is powerful, this is valuable. And then ask them, do you guys see how powerful this is? Does this work for you? You guys understand? Have you ever seen this before? Does this make sense to you? Is this something you want? You'll start seeing some head shake, but they won't shake like this until they see it.
Right. And
then when they see it, they start putting themselves in those reports. They start putting their numbers in those reports, and they start saying, man, yeah, I actually really do want this thing. So I don't remember the exact number. I want to say our appointment ratio. Okay, not last night. Quit it. If you're listening, quit it. No, not last night.
Throw out that one. That's an aberration.
That's not the normal. But I want to say it increased like 15% doing the demo.
Well, I think we went from about a 40 to 45% on average appointment ratio to about a 65% on average. So that's not 15%. That is a 50% increase.
Okay, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's a 50% increase.
Yep. And so just doing that simple thing, and it's the same exact presentation and everything. It's just like literally put a screen up that says demo time, and then say, then your next slide should be what's in it for me. And word it that way, not what's in it for you. You're not talking at them. I want them to read it and say what's in it for me. They're in their shoes now, not your shoes. So position it that way, and then just go through it. And literally, we'll put a picture of the first report. We all use different reports, and that's just fine. But whatever the 3, 4, 5 things is that everybody typically gets from you, just go one by one. Put a picture of it. What is it? Go to the next one. Put a picture of it. What is it? Boom, 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 boom. Now you're value stacking. So everybody that gets to a part 3 is going to get these things.
Right.
And then, man, yeah, it totally increased it once they could see it.
Yeah, it increases the anticipation of getting to part 3 too.
Yeah.
Because after part 2, they're like, they know what to expect in part 3, and so when they get there, they know visually what path am I gonna walk down here, what am I gonna see in that. One of the other things that we do with that demo is we use real examples. It's not just, oh, you're gonna get a report that looks something like this. We use, hey, this is a client that we sat down with, and this was her situation,
right?
And this is what this report did for her. This is, the weight was lifted off of her shoulders because of this column on the report right here. Because she didn't understand that this was possible, and now she does because she can see it by the numbers.
Yeah. And we'll reaffirm right there, like, retiring is an emotional decision. Like, we're emotional beings. We're created that way. And that's normal. But what you got to do when you're making these decisions is be intelligent about it and kind of somewhat remove the emotions. And you can do that by just seeing the conservative numbers.
Yeah.
If you can see them, what does it look like 20 years from now conservatively?
Yeah.
It just, and that's when we're in the office. We'll talk about it in the next couple episodes. But people get excited, like, oh, okay, like, maybe I could retire 2 years earlier. What does that look like? We plug it in, like, now they're excited because they're seeing it. But we set that up in the seminar, and that's do it. I'm telling you, add the demo, add a visual demo of your process. 5-10 minutes at the end of your seminar, your webinar. It will help you.
Yeah, I just thought of something that is, I think it makes sense. A lot of advisors are relying on math to be the salesperson. Math will dictate the course of the conversation. Math does have to be the driver, but emotions will get people to take the next step. So you have to get them to see where they are visually and understand that math is in the driver's seat, but emotions will guide this conversation, because making an appointment with you is an emotional decision, not a math decision. So if you're sitting there trying to wow them with math and show them all these cool things that you can do or these different products that you offer, or whatever, that doesn't matter to them. That's not an emotional pull. Setting an appointment is an emotional decision. I trust these people. I like these guys. I'm going to go meet with them and show them, be vulnerable with them with my portfolio. Yep. If you just talk about math, they have no interest in being vulnerable with you.
You're getting me excited for the next episode. You're getting me revved up, because I'm telling you, that's the secret sauce behind making this thing work.
Yep.
Exactly what you're saying right now.
Yep. Math will absolutely, I think we both say it now in part 2. I'm not stealing from the next episode, but something to the effect of, like, we'll get to the numbers. The numbers are what they are. Like, that is, we'll dive into those, but we need to know about you. And in fact, if an advisor asks you for your numbers before you, get out of that office. We tell them that. Get out of there. It's not even the right it's not even the right way to do it. Yeah. And they know that. And as soon as we say it, and then we set up our process, everything we're doing is just setting up our process so they're comfortable and they're ready. That's right. Leading them down to it. So put a pin in that one, though, because I have a thought. I don't want to forget it. I'm going to forget it, I know, when we record the next episode about.
Do you want to give me a word and I'll write it down?
So the context is the people that come in with their numbers already, like, and they lead with that. They lead with their numbers.
Okay.
Just when they lead with their numbers, I want to talk about that in the next episode.
I'm just going to say lead with numbers.
Yeah.
Boom.
When the prospect leads with numbers. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So last tip,
and it's a good one.
It's a great one. Setting up the yes.
Yeah, setting up the yes. I think it's something that I didn't do great in the first several appointments, and have learned it. We had one of our friends at this point, really. I mean, come in, and I know you guys do this stuff too. Is invite other people to come watch your seminar to critique you, or even just say, hey, have you thought of this, or have you tried this? Because they're going to see something that you haven't seen. Yeah. So we did that, and he gave us some fantastic advice, and it's definitely worked. And of course, we've shifted it and molded it into our process, which you guys should do. We're telling you what works, but you still have to make it a part of your process. Yeah. Massage it. But in this situation, you've had the webinar, you've had the seminar. This is the first time you're meeting with them one-on-one. Start that appointment by saying, by the end, what this appointment is so that I can get to know you, Andrew. You got to know me at the webinar. Now I want to get to know you. By the end of today's meeting, I'll know if I can help you. Like, I've been doing this long enough. We've got, you could throw out some credentials kind of lightly right there. You're not bragging, but you're just backing it up. So I've done this long enough to know by the end of this thing if I'll be able to help you. So really, by the end, it'll just be, do you want my help? Do you want the help? And you say that up front because it just pre-frames it. So then at the end, it's so much easier to ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's what makes it incredibly, because that's a great question, but you can't leave it there.
Right.
You have to circle back at the end of that first meeting and say, okay, I told you at the beginning that this whole thing was about me getting to know you and determining whether or not I thought that we could help you with the tools and the services that we offer. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I can tell. At this point, I know that we can help you. So it's really going to be up to you. Like, this is the point now where we will schedule a part 3 if you want to. If you want to take that next step, I already know that I can help you. I don't have the specifics yet. I haven't done the numbers. I haven't dived into everything, but I know that we can help you. It's up to you whether or not you want that help. Do you want to schedule a part 3 so you can follow through on that? So
good. You're getting me fired up. It's just like, you just made it totally about me. And it's like, you understand me because, again, what you said was really important. I'll go back to it. Like, you're not just saying, yeah, I can definitely help you. Let's meet again. Mm-hmm. It's during this meeting, you told me you're concerned about, X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. I can help you with X, Y, and Z. So really, do you want that help? Right. And then the other kind of question too, and I'll sometimes use both of them or independently, but I'll say, like, another version, I guess, of it is, so after everything we've done today, I know that I can help you with these things. I'm confident in that. Is there anything that would keep you from saying yes to me in the next appointment? Is there anything that would keep you from working with us and going with a recommendation in the next appointment? And I don't know. I don't think I've ever had anybody say, I've had one person be like, well, I just met you. I don't know. I think that was a webinar lead. And so there's maybe a little more work there, but that's a good indication again to me of the work that I need to do. Send some brownies or send a packet or, do something maybe a little bit extra, an extra phone call or text or whatever, just to make them feel comfortable and keep going into it. But framing it that way, I've liked, do you find you use one or the other or both or?
Yeah, I almost always will ask at the end after we've gotten through that and we've scheduled the part 3. I'll say, now, one last question, and it's a personal one. Is there anything that, anything that would be in your way from saying, from moving forward with the recommendations that I may be able to show you in part 3? Is there anything, any objections, and I don't say objections, but any roadblocks that would be in the way? Like something that I've said to you, something you heard me or Richy say at the seminar, anything like that. The only negative response I've ever gotten, and it wasn't really a negative response, is, well, my nephew's a financial advisor.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
And it's like,
that's a good thing to find out.
It's a good thing to find out then, because we do legitimately spend, Richy and I individually probably spend 2 or 3 hours on every presentation that we build for part 3. The team probably spends 3, maybe 4 hours, depending on who's all involved with it. So, we tell people it's a 7-hour process, and it legitimately is, depending on the complexity. Sometimes it could even theoretically be longer. And it's better to find that out,
Absolutely.
I'd much rather find it out before the part 2, but at least at that point we've invested an hour.
Right.
And in that particular context, they said, well, my nephew is a financial advisor, and there was a nice but there. Yep. We're not committed to working with him.
There's a reason they're in the office.
That's right.
Every single person is in your office for some reason. Like, maybe they come to your seminar because they just want dinner. Right. But they're not going to come to your office for dinner. There's no dinner here.
Right. There's some chocolates.
There's some mints and some water, I guess.
Yeah, a bottle of water, yeah.
Yeah. But they're here because there's something. Right. And that's what I love about this. It's what I love about marketing also. I've always really loved that because words can influence, how you position something, how you say something can completely change somebody's mind on it. So it's a powerful tool, but for sure, they're there for a reason. You just have to find it. You just have to structure it around them, and that's the key. It's them. It's not you. Right. Which again, going to the next episode, can't wait. That's all we're talking about. But those 3 things have moved the needle for us dramatically. To be honest, I would say seminars a little bit have slowed down for us. I don't think that's nationwide. I think
definitely not nationwide. I was just talking with Crystal about that last night, and I was kind of sharing some of our, I don't want to call it agony, but it was like, man, that was a tough one. And she's like, well, what about this person and this person and this person? I'm like, their numbers are great. It's Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, what the heck?
Like, I know. There
are some great people here. I absolutely love our clients, but man, last couple of seminars have just been rough, even well attended, but just completely not going to be.
Yeah. But just what we've talked about before. Yeah. I'm not super worried about it because we got another one in 2.5 weeks.
Doing a candle making one next.
Yep. And then we've got another, a couple more that we're planning on for the summer months. We will probably pull back a little for the summer, mostly because, frankly, we want to enjoy their summer, right?
Yeah. We're both going to Florida soon.
That's right.
Doing family stuff.
Gonna get a tan on.
You get a fake tan or actually go do the
Oh,
tan?
I'm getting a fake tan for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll be doing a fake tan for sure.
Hannah's like, let's go. I'm like, I mean, okay.
You need a fake tan.
I do.
Everybody looks better with a tan.
Yeah,
Everybody looks better
100%.
with a tan. Yeah.
Muscles look better. I've been working on this.
You look thinner, you look healthier, all this stuff. It's just, you gotta, get that fake tan.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive.
I actually did some research and I bought a pretty good one. I just haven't used it yet because I'm afraid to.
I had the one I use. It's
Yeah.
funny. This is a peek into Andrew's skincare routine. I get it from Il Maquillage,
Okay.
which is a makeup brand, I guess.
All right.
And
do you use their makeup too, or?
the last time I ordered, which was a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
they're like, "Would you like the free mascara that comes with this?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Obviously, I don't use that, but it was a nice little gift to give to the wife. I was like,
Yeah, okay, sure,
Look,
you
I got
got-
you some mascara from this nice makeup company."
Yeah, you got like 600 girls at your house, so one of them can use that.
We need it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was free. Didn't cost me anything. But Il Maquillage, it's called the Sun Foam. It's like an 80/20. I don't know what that means, but it works. It doesn't look yellow. I mean, technically it's on my legs right now, but I put it on like a week and a half ago, so it's starting to fade. But yeah, I love it.
Got to do it. You got to do it.
Does a good job.
Yeah.
So
What are you wearing today?
I don't know if I've worn these on the podcast. I probably have. I think you have.
I have.
Yep.
I love those.
These are the Gorge Greens. This pair and the Bordeaux's that I have are the same leather quality. It's that pebbled leather. It's really soft and supple. These are the most comfortable ones that I have. Because
The
they have
leather's so soft on those.
leather's
too.
soft, and the liner it's that kind of smoother material instead of being like I don't know, it's not as textured, which is nice. So yeah, these ones are super comfortable. They've held up really well, and yeah, I went green today. I decided to go green today.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
These are not Jordans.
No, I don't. Well, I wore some New Balance one time, but
Yeah,
I think
you did.
outside of that, it's the first time I've not worn a Jordan. But these are the Kobe Venice Beach 8s that just dropped a couple weeks ago. And I was telling the guys, like, I'm at the gym, terrible service, and I was like 2 minutes late. It was a draw, not even a drop. And I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. I enter it kind of nonchalant. And then a couple minutes later, it's like, got him. Like, what the heck? So I'm pretty excited about these. These are my first Kobe's, but I think I might be kind of hooked. I'm going to start getting them. I want to give a shout out to my nephew, Hudson. If you're watching this, buddy, this is appreciate you. He got a pair of shoes, and he shot me a video because he watches our podcast and he watches us do the shoes thing, and he was like doing his version of that. It was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
Hudson, I see you. Love you, bud. And yeah, come to Indiana. Of course, you get your pair of shoes. If I have to bribe you to get your sister to send you out, I'll do it.
You just committed to spending a couple $100 on your
That's all
nephew
right.
on shoes.
That's all right. He's worth it. We'll do it up.
Okay.
But yeah, man, Kobe 8s. I don't know if I'll wear these because I don't know. They're already worth quite a bit, and I don't know. It has that that bottom. I don't know if it'll stain or not. So that always worries me. So they might be a trophy shoe, but got them on today for the old show.
There you go. They look good.
Cool. All right, next episode. Let's dive into our part 2 for us, which is the first appointment after the seminar or webinar with a prospect.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.